All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. With me is my co-host, Matt. Tonight's special guest is Coach Tim Foster, who's the O-line coach at Hebron Christian School in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Coach, welcome to the Board Drill.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kyle.
And now my soundboard doesn't work. This is why everything... There we go.
Jeez.
We've already lasted longer than the last one. We're on to a good start. The Board Drill.
We screw up that
board drill.
soundboard every time. And by we, I mean me. Coach, we're excited to get you on the show. We actually met you. You know, you're one of the few coaches we met in person before we had on the show. We met you up at a clinic up there at Mount Bethel with Coach Micah Hughes, had us up, and we're really appreciative of it. And we listened to you talk in the clinic, and Matt looked at me about 10 minutes into you talking. He's like, we got to get this dude on the podcast. And so we're so thankful that we annoyed you and you decided to come on the podcast. So we're excited to have you here, Coach, and we're super pumped about you talking a little O-line and some individual drill today, right?
Yeah, I wish I had some Veer I could share. I like those hats. Was it Veer or was it? I mean, man, I got to go back about 10 years for that one.
So that was a shout out to Dome Hats. So if you didn't know, Dome did a little collab with us where they gave us 10 different hats. We went up to the clinic and gave away Dome hats. If you're listening, you don't know about Dome, you can go to domehats.com. So I'm going to give a quick plug for them. Where they have all the cool one, right? It's like Run the Damn Ball, and I got one right here that's Rip Liz Match, and all these different coach sayings they have on the hats, but it's awesome.
Nuck if you buck on buck sweep, you know.
Yeah.
I need that. We need to send that. Yeah, Nuck if you buck. That's awesome.
We'll give Mr. Whitaker a call on that. So, Coach, go ahead. I know you got a presentation. Share your screen. While he's sharing the screen, please like and subscribe. Again, you help promote our podcast, and the more we get promotion, the more coaches we can get on the show. So, if you enjoy what you're watching and you like us interviewing coaches every week, make sure to like and subscribe. Coach, without any ado, you go ahead and take it away. We're going to be the dummies that ask questions, and you be the coach.
Good, Coach. We good? You see it? You see what we got here?
All good.
Okay, Perfect. Good. Hey, I wanted to do, I spent this off season and, long story short, when I got to Hebron, we put this thing together last year. I came in at the same time our offensive coordinator came in, Mike Davis, came from Rabun County, really successful high school head coach at Rabun County, was at Calhoun for a while. We came in together and I found out the day before spring ball that I was going to be the O-line coach. I came in as kind of like a tight end guy, career tight end guy. I did a lot of skill work when I was an offensive coordinator. I coached quarterbacks. So, well-traveled, was very fortunate in my career to be around some really, really good O-line coaches. I was an offensive coordinator for 3 years. So whenever you get into that world, you got to know what's going on up front. So I never got into the weeds of getting, putting together the O-line, every day and getting down to that world. So I was very excited about it because I always wanted to do it. But, also I kind of wanted to make a presentation. It's like, man, how do you budget, all your time? Because you can't, Matt, this, you can't get good at everything, not right. Day one, and you're not going to get good at everything in spring ball. You may start to kind of peak maybe midsummer. And then you hope really when you get into week one of the season that you're good at something, right? You're not gonna be good at power counter, outside zone, inside zone, and great pass pro, sprint out, and all that. So, which our offensive coordinator gets it. He's awesome, but not a lot of guys do. So for me, I was like, man, if I can help maybe a guy watching this is like, hey, I'm taking over O-line, or maybe I need something, and this is just what I kind of put together, and I feel like it was effective. When I came in at Hebron, we ended up signing a kid early to Wake Forest, our right tackle, Fletcher Turk, and then we got a left guard that's probably going to sign with South Carolina State next week. We have 2, juniors that are rising seniors that both have FBS offers. They've had our right guard's really blown up, man. He's gotten Georgia, Kentucky. He's going to Alabama this weekend. And then our left tackle, who, funny story, you'll see him on this clip. He's probably 6'7", 345, 350, trying to get him down to like 320. But I got him the first week of the playoffs. So, the right tackle had gotten suspended over, kind of like a personal foul type of deal. He had 2 in a game, and then we had to kind of shuffle the deck. But this guy ended up, man, sinking in. And I only had him for a month. So I'm really excited about him. But, the reason I say that is because I really inherited a really good situation. So not all of this is coaching at all. They actually make me look really good. But, I had to put these guys in position and kind of put something together. They were the state champions the year I got there. And we were able to go back to back this year. Had a really good year. So kind of some of the things, I think it's very important. You got to define right away what's important to you. Like I kind of said earlier, like you can't get good at everything, but you also can't be a master of everything because you'll end up being a master of none. So I'm big on the Bruce Lee motto of like, hey, let's practice this one kick 1,000 times versus practicing 1,000 kicks one time. I'm just big on that. That's just me. And I think that's whether I'm coaching O-line, tight ends, quarterbacks, just especially at the high school level, like, hey, let's get really good at something. And this is what we're going to do every day. And every time I'm designing drills or whatever we're doing, it's got to have a flavor of this. And I think the first step is like, what do you want to be up front? Like we had some big mashers. They were gap scheme when I got there. So we are going to keep that going. So we are going to master that. And they were going to not just mastering like the movement skills and all that stuff, but mastering the football IQ side of it, like showing them different fronts constantly and giving their body different angles to block in and different movement within that run scheme. So, and doing that every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday on like our walkthrough type of deal, just mastering our run schemes. Number one, not our pass scheme. We're not going to master our pass pro. But for me, we're going to master our run scheme, because if you watch any level of football, whether it's NFL, college, high school, the guys that played the last game are pretty good up front on both sides of the football, running the football. So that's where it all starts. Finishing blocks. That's number two on this PowerPoint, but they're all really 1A, 1B. Finishing blocks. Every individual drill is a whistle. Some guys go out there with no whistle. That's not me. Like, I got to have a whistle, and I got to indicate the end of a play, end of a drill. And if you're not finishing through that, then you're wrong, period. And whether we're hitting a sled, whether we're hitting dummies, whether we're on air, there's got to be a finish every day, everything we're doing. Physicality and violence, it really just comes down to how hard we're hitting things and just doing that on a daily basis, striking from different angles. I kind of said that earlier, but just putting your body in different positions. Don't just hit a sled every day. Like, we hit a sled once a week, and you'll see some of that on here, but that doesn't move. You got to hit moving people. There's so much slanting that we get. Like, we get slants every week, and we got to be able to move. And hey, start from one knee. Start from I call it a cock position, where you're engaged and this guy's trying to rip and run, and just different angles, putting your body in different positions. When you pull on power and you pull on counter, that's pretty much going to be different every single time with where your initial strike's going to be. So just doing that in Indy every day from what we're doing, and I'll show some of that a little bit. And then mixing in conditioning and teaching into Indy. I made a big mistake because, and Matt, you'll appreciate this. Man, I wanted to run after practice because I felt like we were out of shape. Well, I found out after a week of running after practice, we started having a bunch of knee issues with the big guys.
Yeah.
So yep. I'm like, what am I doing? No, we're not going to run. And it's just little gassers, but these big dudes, man, mixing into your individual, get maximum reps over and over again, and they'll be sweating. Don't worry. But I made that big mistake because I was like, oh, I'm a skill guy, and we're going to get some extra sprints. Those receivers can run for days, but your big 340 pounder, you're going to end up banging up his knee.
It's a lot on the joints there, Coach.
It is, man. It was very, 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 very dumb on my part. Great stance, great stance, no matter what it is, great stance every day. We're working that. Let me see. Here we go. So building Indy in season. So this is just what I do, and this is what I found to be effective. And it's a lot of the same thing you just heard, but building Indy in the season, and I'm talking about not spring. I'm talking about we're in the middle of it. Every day, majority is going to be striking something, whether we're pulling, whether we're kicking, trap pull, wrap pull. We're down, we're double teaming, we're striking stuff every day. We're not going to do any walkthroughs on Monday. We're not going to do any walkthroughs on Tuesday. Even in week 8, week 9. This is the big thing, and this is the thing that I've been pondering all off season. It's just solo blocks, getting really, really, really good at solo blocks, because we get so much up front of, walk down backer or bear front or whatever it is. And a good defensive coordinator is going to try to make you one-on-one, right? So how do we combat that? Well, I'm going to work that every day to where we feel confident. If somebody walks down and we're by ourselves and it becomes a board drill, no pun intended, we know what we're doing, and we feel confident in that. We're not like, oh crap, like we got to go one-on-one against this dude. Nah, this is where we live. We live in that one-on-one world. And then, obviously double teams is we're going to work that every day too, but we're going to work it equally with solo blocks, man. Like, hey, put your 5 guys down. I'm going to put my 5 guys down there, and we're going to see who wins. And it's going to be us. So that's just what I believe in. And that's a big priority, solo blocks. I mean, defensive coordinators, like I said, they're going to try to make you play one-on-one, and we're ready for that. Again, just your identity schematically, like, just understand that every day, hitting that every single day. Double teams, whether it's duo, whether it's power, counter, outside zone wasn't a play for us. I wanted to be a play for us this spring, so mixing that in. But, that's different. You can't – if you got 10 minutes, you can't hit outside zone double team, power double teams. You can't do that. You got 10 minutes, man. So
that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot for 10 minutes. So just making sure hey, Monday we're going to hit power double teams. Tuesday we're going to hit our duo zone, which is pretty much the same thing, but like hitting that, and then whatever time we have left, we'll work on the minority stuff, which is like your pulls and your wraps. And honestly, pass pro, I'll spend a lot of time in it in the spring, but in the season, we're going to kind of get that during our pass under pressure times and all that stuff. So but majority, that's what I talk about with budgeting. Like, you got to budget it, man. Like, you can't just say, hey, we're going to do all this stuff, because you're going to run out of time. You're not going to get good at any of it. So
yeah,
this is kind of how I budget it. Going into spring, I think you have a lot more you got a lot more time to kind of, try out some new things. And I would actually encourage any guy watching this, try new drills, try new things. Don't get carried away, but it's a great time to do it. I wouldn't try new drills in season. I wouldn't do that, but yeah, I mean, because, they're going to look at you like, what are we doing? And then by that time, your individual time's over with. So, but try it and figure out, something new that you can do. And maybe it'll click, and maybe, you'll see some results in it. All right, so let's get into, and I'll just roll. You guys stop me, questions, whatever it is. I'm going to try to get through all this. So these are the boards. These boards are actually retired. So I retired these, and they're hanging in my garage because they took such a pounding this year. And they actually I inherited these boards. They're Fisher boards. So they're Velcro. I've never seen them before. Usually you see like the Rogers, the rubber ones that are just boom,
the black mat ones or whatever they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to. But, when I got there, like I said, I found out the day before spring ball I'm doing the O-line. So I was like, okay, and then this is what we had. So these like Velcroed up, and I don't know, they're awesome though. They're retired. They're in my garage now. So I'm probably gonna have all my guys sign them at some point. But
Coach, were these soft pads or are they hard?
No, they're soft. They're soft, and they have like I don't know. They have like something filling inside of them that used to come out. It's like what you find in your grandma's closet. You know what I mean? It's like it's whatever falls out of your grandma's attic when you open it. That was what was in these pads.
Asbestos? Okay. Is that what you're trying to say?
Probably so. I mean, we get kind of in this corner down here, so nobody really knows what's going on. So there might have been some asbestos and some, some mold, just hanging out down there. But I mean, yeah, so nobody really knows what's going on. You know how it is. But no, they were soft, and some of them had a lot of the filling out of it, so they were kind of uneven. But anyway, this is what we used, and I retired them, and I'm gonna get some Rogers, nice rubber ones next year, and some med balls and some other things. But anyway, so I took these everywhere. So like young O-line guy, like what I learned is like, hey, take these to pregame warm up. This is what I'm gonna use for pregame. This is what I'm gonna use every day. We're gonna move them around. Like I'm gonna, do a lot of things with them, and this is kind of my deal. So just first thing that I've noticed that I wanted to work, going back to the solo blocks thing, going back to the board drill, if you will. I call this a base vert. So just inside, like we're by ourselves on a 4-eye at tackle, and we're running power, or we're by ourselves at guard, and we have a 2-eye, and they walk the guy down. And we got to make sure, even if we have like a head up 4 or maybe a 5, people slant a lot in the 4-man front now. So if you have a 5 technique and he's slanting hard across your face, This is just a hard inside step and then getting vertical, keeping my shoulders square. And this is, I spent a lot of time on this because, we saw a lot of odd front. We saw a lot of 50. We saw a lot of walk down. So we're going to run power no matter what. So just making sure we're just working it over and over again. Inside, so how I teach it is just that inside foot is straddling the board and we're stepping hard and we're staying vertical through the top of it. It's really simple concept. But we did it over and over again. And then understanding low to high on the shield. You guys know how it is, Matt. It's either you got to coach the dummy, the defensive player, more than you do the offensive guy sometimes.
You do, especially when they want to try to keep that shield out away from them and it doesn't simulate body contact. Got to keep that shield nice and tight, and you got to coach them up on it. You do.
You absolutely do. You got to get them down there to where we can really strike low to high. If you're holding if 71 right here, if he's straight up, he's 6'7". I mean, that's going to be a long way for him to go. I want that contact to happen fast, and I want it to happen low, and I want us to lift. I don't want us to be reaching for it, but still taking our steps to it. But feet on contact, moving my feet, running. Hopefully there's a whistle. There's got to be a whistle, to signify the end of the drill. And this is your center with a shade, crossing your face. This is a 2-eye on a guard. This is a tackle with a 4-4-eye. We're going to work this every single day, both sides, every single day. And this, he's getting a little flat with his first step right here. I want this step to be at a 45 right here to where we're gaining ground. We're not stepping flat like outside zone. I don't want it to be flat and then vertical. I want it to be stepping, gaining ground, but getting there just in case we get that hard cross face, which we get every single week. We're going to get somebody trying to cross our face and blow up the play. So we're just working it over and over again. This kid right here is our left guard coming back. He's pretty good with it. And it's always that second step, right, Matt? It's that second step got to be out of the ground. I'm watching it. I'm watching that left guard. His second step slow. We're trying to get low and lift. We're running our feet through the top, staying square, not turning. We're not turning and throwing.
And a lot of those guys want to take a big, long second step, and it's getting them to bam, bam, get that second one into the ground as quick as you can.
Absolutely. And you can see MJ right here, he takes a big first step. So what's he going to do that second step? It's going to be big, right? It's 6 inches. It doesn't have to reach. You're not reaching anywhere. You're just shaded and you're getting vertical down the field as best you can and staying square and not turning. That's why I love the boards. I love long boards. Because it makes you run a longer track.
I just got a little PTSD there. I heard 6-inch step, and it just made me fall right into Coach Rick Trickett yelling 6-inch step 100 times over and over at Florida State practice. I just ingrained into my head right there.
Absolutely.
18-inch splits, 6-inch steps.
6-inch step!
18-inch splits. Does somebody have a ruler? How do we get
on that? He was very precise with his splits.
Coach Trickett could tell you what 18 inches is while looking at it. I can tell you that he is a former Marine, heck of an O-line coach. Awesome guy. Was great to me at Florida State, but that dude knew if you were at 19 inches, I guarantee you just by looking at it, it's amazing.
I heard he had a nice mouth on him too. I heard it was very animated.
It's spicy.
I don't know if he would be invited on the board drill podcast. He might be.
He would
be invited.
Have him. I don't think we could get Coach Trickett on a Zoom. He'd probably be.
That's all. He's going somewhere back. He was at Jacksonville State, wasn't he?
They're all back at West Virginia. All the Trickett boys, I think, are there. So
that's right. Yeah, his son's a really good quarterback coach, I believe. Is it Travis?
Clint. Clint was the quarterback. Travis was the OC. So Travis could have coached quarterbacks as well. I don't know. And then Chance is the middle one. He's a personnel guy.
Right.
So anyways, sorry to go off on that tangent.
So we'll move on, but this is our tight end. This Castro is actually doing a really good job. The middle one is all over the place. He's too wide, he's too lateral, and then the second step is just not getting out of the ground. But I like where he's stepping at the 45 up the field. And then that second step is getting in there. And this is the kid I only had during the playoffs. This is the kid that's going to be our right tackle next year. He's 350 pounds doing this right now. So I'm trying to get him down to 315, 320. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. So, move on. And we could do this. I think I'm doing it now from an engaged position just to mix it up. Same thing. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm doing it from a loaded position. But I like to do it I wonder if I have it here, but where like the defender has you in your worst case scenario, like he beats you, like he's got his hand like in the V of your neck, and you got to step and you got to figure out a way to hand fight and get the right fit. Like I like to give him like the worst case scenario to where like you're already beaten, like you were slow out of your stance, but you're going to recover and end up winning. I don't think that's this one, but I like to put him in. I talk about putting him in different positions, like put him in bad position and make them fight. So anyway, here's some clips. So here's our right tackle. So this is just, I think we're just running, power right, and this is a 4-eye, and he's slanting inside. And there's left, right, boom. But the punch, the getting underneath it, the punch and the throw. That's what we're
awesome.
looking right there.
Beautiful.
And I like the second step.
That is some power there, Coach.
Yeah.
That is tough for a high school offensive lineman to solo block a 4-eye on power.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It really is. It is. Now I take no credit. He is a really good player. But we just do it every day. We just do it every day because that's what we talked about before. I want to spend as much time on solo because they're going to try to make a good defensive coordinator like this team right here is going to make you solo block them. We're running buck sweep right here, and we're really short. But yeah, let's see what we got right here. Oh, there's our hand clapping. I remember y'all got a kid who, like, we don't go off a clap, by the way. And I don't know the
quarterback's just coming up with his own stuff out there, watching too much football on Saturdays.
I know. I think he thinks he's Pat Mahomes. I think we're looking at the left guard right here. See, the right step doesn't get where I want it to go. Right, it doesn't get like here, and the left step doesn't get down the crotch, but he recovers. He recovers and just runs his feet. I think that's what we're looking at. Yeah, that's all that matters is the recovery and the finish. Right, the feet on contact. Boom, 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 boom. And even the center too. The center's got a shade. Like he's a one technique, but like. That's still right, left, getting underneath them and lifting them up.
Yep.
But those are solo blocks. Those are solo blocks, man. Okay, I got the tight end and the right guard. So the right guard is not great. I can't really see the tight end. The right guard is not great. He's a little flat with that left foot. I would like him to get vertical. So you O-line guys, you got to get vertical. That's why we do it. We don't get – it's not a bucket. It's vertical because you got to get in there. He's not great. But again, and he's really high. But this is why you got to put your guys in positions you got to get them in a bad position so they can recover. Like getting underneath them and keep fighting. Don't you think, Matt? Put them in positions.
Absolutely, Coach. Absolutely. I like to used to get them in situations where they got their feet spaced out and they're already locked up and they got to recover their feet and regather themselves, or hands outside, trying to work the hands back inside and drive at the same time. It's important to definitely put them in those situations they might find themselves in a game.
Absolutely. The tight end. This is the same guy that we just looked at where he's hopping around.
That was hot.
But it's the feet, though. The feet and the base. Try to stay square. I like how Elijah, too, the right guard, is keeping his shoulders square. Like he's not bailing on it to where all of a sudden I'm gonna start slinging, right? Because I'm probably bigger and stronger than this kid. Just keep my shoulders square. Keep them square. Keep running them up the board, right? This is the board. Keep running them up the board, even though you got beat initially, and then we recovered.
Great recovery. And you can tell after the second step, he kind of stopped. He locked his feet in, and tried to throw his hips, and just overpowered the kid with his upper body. And you see him lock in and continue along with his feet. So
yeah, absolutely. That was a big deal with him. Was just the third and fourth step. I'm proud of my center right here. He don't get a lot of love, but man, he's just running his feet, staying square, and finishing.
That's good work.
I think I got my left guard again. Yeah, left guard.
Coach, one big thing that, taking a look at what you're doing and seeing your drills, tight ends, we would always fight over them. Do we want them running routes? Do we want them blocking? What do we want them practicing? How do we split up that practice time? Because, he's got to be able to do both. You're talking about budgeting time, and especially with your background of tight ends. What do you do? How do you fight for your tight ends and get them there in blocking drills?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it all goes back to who are you, identity wise, and who is that player. I mean, and really where you're at in the season, like this is the guy that we ended up moving to tight end. We ended up moving our left tackle to tight end. So he played left tackle for me, and then we got, our big boy in there, and we moved him to tight end. But this guy right here was our starting inside linebacker. So, you're talking about 15 minutes. You got him a day, 20 minutes for Indy. So how are you budgeting that? If you got 15 minutes, are you throwing, arrow routes with him, or are you, figuring out how he's going to move people and move humans? And just for us, man, we needed to get as much double team work and as much, solo blocks and as much steps as possible, because, people that don't know, but people that don't know, like they just think, oh, well, he can go play sniffer and, he'll be fine. No, there's a lot of footwork that goes with that, man. Like,
yep.
There's a ton of it. And, when you get a kid for 15 minutes, I mean, you gotta drill the footwork, because if he's stepping all over himself, we're not going to have much success. So I would say, I think that goes back to your identity and what do you want to be. Like, we knew we were going to run the ball 70% of the time this year, just because we had a pretty good O-line. We had a really good running back. I mean, this kid was all state in all classifications. That's just who we were. Now, next year, who knows? We could be an air raid team and be, 11P, but throwing it all around. I mean, so then, hey, we're going to lose them, and we're going to focus more on routes on air, or, Scaly or whatever it is. So I think that kind of goes back to that. Now, I will add to that, though, like this kid right here is very athletic. So when we go to, spring ball, we would like to see what he can do in Skelly. We know he can block, right? We know he knows what he's doing in the run game, but in spring ball, it's a great opportunity for him to go out there, and we can kind of see as coaches what he can do in the past, receiving game, but also for him to get better in that part of his game too. I love the finish, the bodies on the ground. I just, now we're yanking. I mean, we're lucky we didn't get a penalty right there on a couple of them, but I think I only have one or two more of these. I'm just big on this, I'm big on the solo blocks. I really am, because I feel like that's going to be, the hidden deal. I mean, Calvary Day in the state championship was putting a ton of dudes in the box. Yeah, so we get heavy slant. This is what like, this is a tough deal. You know that, man, for an O-lineman, when you're getting that heavy slant, I mean, you got to really, and really Turk's not great right here. He's stepping, the second step doesn't get out of the ground. You see it sliding.
Yep.
But
gets overextended.
And he's kind of reaching for it, but he's got enough punch, because we work violence and hitting things every day, that he's able to recover enough. So yeah. All right, let's move on here. Okay, so now let's move on to the down block. So that's the inside vertical. Here's our down stuff, with your buck sweep, or if we're getting a bear front and we got to go down, all the way down on a power play or a duo play, whatever it is, we'll work this. Now, I will say that I teach down blocks. I used to teach down blocks when I was coaching tight ends. It's just, stepping to my target, kind of similar to an inside down. But now I teach it to where we're bucket stepping, because, and I don't know, Matt, if you ever played with this at all, but like, I like bucket stepping because we get so much inside just penetration up the field, just chargers. And I feel like the bucket step just kind of gets us a chance to get that hat across. It's kind of like you're teaching outside zone, but you're kind of down. It's a down outside zone step. Like, it's the same thing. Like, we're trying to run outside zone right, so we're going to bucket step and reach it. But for the down, like, we get so much like 3 technique just down up the field that I felt like we just had to lose some ground on it and try to get our hat across and just wash it.
I wasn't a true bucket step. We would step play side and then open the toe to 30 degrees from the. I used to teach 30 degrees from your heel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be widening that foot out and opening it, and then chest to knee. We always focused on being low as we could with those down blocks. And if I taught them chest to knee, it would put their helmet, their face mask in the correct location.
I like that. Chest to knee is good.
So, but we would take that first step, chest to knee, and that kind of put our helmet right in the correct location to get there. I never tried with the bucket step there.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
Yeah, I mean we hit sleds maybe once a week. Like I said, it's a stationary object, but we do have to have some punch. We got to get some movement and making sure, like, just mixing it in. 3-man sled. We don't have a 5-man sled, but this is a 3-man sled. I think it's a Crowther. It is a Crowther.
Mm-hmm.
But the coaching point is just starting with my heel at the top of the sled, and then we're bucket stepping down, and then we're really just, we're unlocking that hip and just destroying it, the best we can. But we're really trying to get that hat across. So, I mean, this is just one way to do it. I also do the down vertical on this too. And trying to get reps, like reps, 3 guys at a time. I don't believe in doing drills where it's one guy at a time, like 3 guys at a time and rolling it. This is really, really tight. I need to spread this out. But yeah, doing the same thing on the board, right? I mean, just the same thing on the board. This really isn't a good finish by the top guy. I probably made him do it again. But just starting heel at the top, making sure they're stepping down, and then really just ripping and running. It's probably not by the letter of the law the best way to teach it. It just kind of works for us, just because we're trying to get our height across and just deny, inside penetration to where those guys are just blowing up our pullers, right? So we're trying to just cover them up to where our pullers have a chance to get around it, or our back, our back has a chance to jump cut it if we're getting. And this is also like if we're getting, I think I have a clip of like, the Mike Fiery late on an A-gap blitz or whatever it is. And like us making sure we're not missing that, maybe stepping a little bit flatter, maybe to not absorb it, but just to collect it and wash it. Go ahead.
And you're prepping your kids once again for worst case scenario. You get a guy who's blowing through the line and you're prepping them to take that angle. I love that over dramatization. I don't know how to say it. That overworking of here's the extreme you need to work to and help them practice to that extreme. And then it becomes easier as you go.
Absolutely. And like I said, this, like, you got to coach the bag holders. Like, he's not really doing a good job, it's not really just he's not giving us any resistance, like we got to do a better job right there, but you can tell I'm kind of onto the details. This is a good rep. You can see the difference. I mean, the middle. Now, again, we're not stepping that far back. Like, it's not that big of a bucket, So these are the things that I like to watch with. I could probably watch these with these guys a little bit more, just so they can see it, because they don't know, right? I mean, they're just going through drills, but when you show them on film, they're like, "Oh yeah, I did step pretty far." I'm gonna shout out, my man that only had Castro. I mean, he's not bad right there for a dude that I just got. I mean, 350 pounds.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. All right, so let's see it transfer. So, I think I got it highlighted. Yep. So we're running buck sweep. So the right tackle's down. He's got to get down all the way to a 2-eye, man. I mean, you know how it is on buck sweep. I mean, he's got to go down all the way there. So he's got to bucket and lose ground. And then the center is his back. But I think the right tackle does a really good job here. Let's see. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying is like he doesn't lose ground that great. Like, it's pretty good. But when you lose ground, unlock that hip and go. And he goes right here. Boom. Like,
made a damn down block look like wham or train.
Yeah.
Basically what it is at that point, when he's a 2-eye, you got to sprint to get there. He's not going to see you coming either.
Right. I mean, the violence is just, he's I'm going to miss him. But here at center too, I mean, he's not bad. I mean, this isn't really a down block necessarily like we were just talking about, but just making sure you're getting the hat across. I mean, he gets help because, I mean, the 2-eye gets blocked into him. But yeah, I mean, this is a teach tape right there, right tackle. It's really good. Really good. What we're looking for. Really good on the pull too by the left guard or the right guard. I mean, they spill everything. Well, I mean, getting out there and getting the corner. I mean, that's tough in space.
I'm not no line guy here, but where I'm impressed is that he does that out of a 2-point stance. It's naturally harder. I gotta assume. Again, you guys tell me. I assume it's harder to get out quick out of a 2-point stance when you're talking about run blocking.
Yeah,
just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, he liked to play with it. I think he was really interested because that's what, Wake Forest and those guys at the Power Five, they're all standing up now, and he wanted to kind of do that. But he had some ankle issues too, to where, at least that's what he told me. But but he actually played really good out of it. But I think that it depends on the guy. He could probably play in a 3-point or 2-point and be about the same. But not everybody can do that. Matt, I don't know what you would say to that, but depends kind of on the player.
It depends on the player completely and how disciplined they are. You get a guy that'll get too lazy with it, sitting too far back in his stance on rundowns, and he's going to be standing straight up, and there's no way he'll get off like that. So, player with good get off, he can move. It doesn't really matter if his hand's touching the dirt or not. Whew, that running back's shifty.
Yeah, he is good. So this is just a zone play. Yeah, this is kind of like a zone fan. This is just a fan, but it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same footwork. We're opening up and we're out. I don't like the head duck, but I like the hand placement. I like how he goes. Open that toe and go. And I like the hands lifting, low to high. I just like how fast he's playing right there. I like the gallop's okay too. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that, Coach. That's good.
And that's fun to watch. But yeah, the gallop's good. I would like him to be, the gallop is on that third step. So 1, 2, 3. But I would like him to be in the hip a little bit more. But he gets low enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that all I got on that? That's all I got on the downs. Okay. Well, there we go. I thought I had a couple more. Okay, we got some pulls here. So I do the same thing on boards. I just pull on boards, but I would really like to try some different things to where I've tried some things to where we have all three guys in like one spot and they all pull and we kind of have, we're all, this guy goes here, this guy goes here. So we're finding them late.
Yeah.
But again, like just getting them in different positions to where they're, blocking them just in different positions. I would actually like to have them a little bit deeper. Now, my key coaching point on pulls is I like to slide shuffle or skip shuffle. So I like them to skip, but then a shuffle because I'm not really a big skip pull guy. And I might just be creating something here, but I call it a skip shuffle to where we're skipping, we're opening, but we're shuffling flat. That we're not really getting too much depth on a wrap pull. And then, the biggest thing is just making sure they just accelerate through the board. Like that's one of my big coaching points is just accelerating through the board because it's kind of like a running back when you're telling them to run through the smoke. You want to tell that guard, hey, you might have a crease that's like very, very tiny. You want to accelerate through the smoke and make it, clear it out, to where your running back has a chance. So making sure they accelerate through there and just clearing out any trash that they get. And this is kind of a good example right here at left guard of just accelerating like through that hole right there. Like it's like that mic comes down, but just accelerating through it, boom, and then, finishing through. I thought that acceleration is key, because a lot of guys, you know how it is when they pull, they want to peak and it slows them down when they're peaking and they're looking too much. Right. But
yeah,
I like the skip shuffle and I like just accelerating through there. And then whoever, it might be the play side backer, it might be the backside backer that scrapes across. But, just handling issues with fast violence, and using your hands usually works out on power if we're hitting it fast enough. So just getting those guys to play fast on those wrap pulls is big. I thought we did. These guys are very athletic, which has made it very easy.
That's a big old boy coming through the hole. Are you teaching him inside shoulder aiming point at second level?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. So yes, and that's another coaching point that I'm trying to do in here is just, hey, we're trying to be inside out. Sometimes I'll have these guys like standing over here, maybe like standing like right here to where it's like on you fast, but the same, it's inside out. Inside coaching point for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you said that because that was something I missed that we do a lot of, talk about a lot. And a lot of guys aren't good at that. A lot of guys miss because they're trying to be head up, like via the neck, and then they end up being via the neck and they end up hit the outside shoulder and the dude folds into the play. So yes, inside out. So he should be striking 32, like right here. And it's not great, but I think his aiming point was fine. Yeah, that's tough too, and that's why I try to get those guys with those bags to really walk down fast and like try to smoke that puller in. That's what we talk about. Put them in bag, like the worst case scenario, right? Yeah. Like run down there and smoke the puller and make them figure it out. Make them figure out how to adjust.
That's hard to simulate in practice. That's hard to, O-line on O-line stuff. That's tough.
Yeah, that's the good v good time. That's when you simulate that.
I agree.
Or when I coached at inside run, because we all got riled up during inside run, offensive coaches, defensive coaches trying to fight each other. It was a good time. We got into, inside run was a big pride drill. So everyone got very ecstatic during it. Let's just say
it should be. It should be, especially in college when you got a whole, 2 platoon. Sometimes in high school, you got all your best players on offense, so you're going against your scout guys, and it's like, this isn't very fun.
Coach, I'm going to give you the last play. Every single time I ran inside run, my last play that was the same. It was always just on 2.
Yes.
And let the defense jump. The defense jumps, and then you just walk off and break it down.
Yeah,
and
then he calls the drill. It's so much crap.
Be upset.
And he calls the drill. Like, this is going to fire me up now.
Watch the coaches lose
and
their mind.
I'm over on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm screaming, no, line back up. And it's just, whatever.
What a veteran move. That's awesome. We got to steal that one.
Don't be that guy.
You know what you should have done? You should have marked off 5 yards and then walked off the field. Hey, back it up.
Because if he did that, I would have grabbed the ball and punted it. I'm just being honest with you. He knows.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that fire! I forgot about that. Matt,
I think it made them more angry. Their kids would jump off, and then we'd just walk away, go get water.
At least you didn't throw RPOs on them and inside. Maybe you did.
No, the next OC I worked with did that until I started intercepting them.
Oh, like you as a coach standing back there?
Yeah, the one time they did it like 3 days in a row. So finally, like the third day, I just picked it off and, I was like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
What kind of message are we trying to send here? We're doing inside drill. We're throwing RPOs. Is that saying you can't run the ball?
And they're like, well, that's the guy we'd RPO off of. And I go, yeah, but our coverage guy is not in the drill. So of course it's going to be open. Like, what are we doing?
Correct.
Anyways, that's the eternal argument between O and D, which will go on until the end of time.
It absolutely will. I was at Little Ryan and we had a safety who's playing for the Steelers right now. And he comes down and he's a high safety. And he was like 6'2", 225. Like he got drafted in the second round. And he comes down in inside drill and he just decleats our running back. And I'm like, okay, guys, like we gotta get him out of here because first of all, we don't have a hat for him. Okay. He knows it's inside run and he's gonna kill all of our guys. So I don't think he did inside drill after that, but I mean, it was the most violent hit I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, this is not good. We should all be on him. So going back to the Buck Sweet, like this is still a red pull, but he's a little bit wider. He knows that. I don't like how much he's turning his shoulders, but he kind of got to get over there as much. I like how he gets his shoulders square and accelerates through, gets his finish, gets his hands. Vertical, run your feet, vertical. It's really good by most of them. This is on Buck Sweet, this is kind of like this is like a log. That dude's he's logging us, he's spilling us, so we're going to log it. But on the log, we work this. I don't have any clips of it, but we do work, the different scenarios and trap pulls where it's not always going to be a kick. It's not always going to be, you got to be able to adjust and log, and you know how it is, man. You got to, second pull, you got to know what it is more than the first one.
Yeah.
Energy wise, it's always been till the end of time. It'll always be the biggest issue is, can that tight end read, the kick out, whatever it is.
Yeah, and you got to teach them with the eyes what they're looking for. They're watching the hips of that first puller and getting back around to where their ass goes.
And I think the big thing here is, and this is speaking from a defense perspective, because I know what we do when people try to log us. what I like what your guy does is he moves them after logging them. So many guys like just do the log movement, stop, and like we've always been successful because we teach our guy to spill and then immediately get vertical.
Yeah.
And so when guys were lazy on the log, we'd get vertical. We'd just smash into the next puller, and we got a 2 for 1. We didn't care because now we know we're a man up. And so I think the log is so important of finishing it. And I don't think a lot of people do it well, to be honest with you, because we made our money spilling the first guy, and when he tries to log us, just punching vertical and just creating chaos all the time.
Well, we played the first round. We played Trinity Christian, which is actually where our head coach came from. They were one of the best spilling teams I think I've ever seen. I mean, they were going to spill you over and over again, and those kids were so coached up on it. Like, they were dang near going to, touch you, on the spills. But yeah, you have got to be vertical, trying to get vertical movement stuff like that. I agree. Yeah. Like a lot of guys think, okay, I've done my job, I've reached them, but you still got to get vertical movement. You still got to get them by there. And you're right. I mean, those feet. It's all about the feet on contact. Feet. So yeah, we worked that. And that's a quick pull and react. I mean, that's fast. That's a see that play. I mean, because you got a sniffer, and that's a near side guard. So, I mean, he's going to try to kick it, but that's a good job of just getting his shoulder square. I mean, right there and working on the field. I think Elijah, the second player, does a good job, too, of getting his shoulder square and finishing.
And that's hard to get from the second puller because a lot of times they got to get extra depth to get around those down blocks, and any penetration that happens. So that was something that we always had to we would almost teach them turn back towards away from the line of scrimmage and then get your hips around and get square. That's that's a tough thing for that second puller to master.
Yeah, it is. I think you can't really see it from here, but I think this left tackle does a good job of inside vertical because that's kind of what we talked about before. I can't tell what he is. He's a 400 guy, but this dude gets on the field. He's that he's going to blow the second floor. Doesn't matter, So, and that's what they're trying to do. So, kudos to the left tackle. I don't know. He's getting blown up a little bit, but we don't get our second puller blown up as much. So yeah, that's how it all kind of pieces together. Nothing came up, you know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
There
you go.
Yeah, he's a 4-eye kind of slants out a little bit, but we're getting enough on him. I think we are double teaming this with tight end. So I made your question about like how much budget in time with the tight ends. That's why I put it in the presentation because like this kid actually never really got good with his feet. He actually ended up giving up football, but like he never really got good with his feet. So there's so much space right here. So just understanding like your feet, like he's stepping all, you can tell right now at 14, like he just stepped all over himself. He's not going anywhere. So whenever you get that's why you gotta work. That's why people don't understand if you never coach tight ends or offense, like just putting a kid back there with sniffer, it's not that easy, He's gonna
he takes 2 steps there, goes nowhere and widens the hands and stands up, so that's there's a lot going on there to fix.
Right, and look at him, and he doesn't know where he's going. He don't know he's supposed to go the backside back. He's going front side back. He's like everybody. It's like the master of none, man. It's like he's doing 1,000 kicks one time. It's just I just speed, man. He was really good. I think he's gonna end up going to Sacramento State, but man, he's just got great speed on his pulls. Just going and fighting it. He gets all the way to safety. Like that's just you don't know who's gonna block. Just get through there, fast and figure it out. I don't even know what 52 is doing right here. Like I don't know. Both these back outside the box, so just figure it out with speed. I just really like what he's doing right there. Fast. Yeah, like there's no backer in the box.
Yeah.
There's no backer in the box. But this is what I'm saying. They're going to try to get down here and make you play, solo blocks. They're going to try to solo you up, and how are you going to handle that? The right tackle again is doing a really good job on that 4-eye. Or he's really a 3-10. He just slammed to him, but that inside out vertical tight ends. His hat across. I mean, that could have been on here too on the teach tape. And that actually makes the play go. I mean, because inside out enough.
Yeah, I can't imagine that number 8 on that last play was relatively happy about how that worked out for him. That's safety.
No, it's like being a corner against a nub tight end and they run buck sweep, which has happened to me several times in my career. I'm like, what do I do with this?
Good old 70 coming to the.
I'm surprised they take the referee and like use him as a decoy, put it in front of him.
You just right. All you can do is, DB's out there. Listen to me. It's probably not legal, but just cut him and move on to the next play. That's what I did.
100% legal, 100% logical.
I don't care if a 300-pound guy's running at me. His ass is getting cut, coach. That's just the bottom line.
Very true. Very true. His hands are pretty good. 70. We try to get this out of them all. Like that's exactly what we do. Striking the bag. Like, look at how wide his hands are. He knows bearing that inside out. He's got holding the refs looking right at him.
Was it 78 that was over there kicking out? The way he punches here. Beautiful hand punch.
So they got it. They started doing this deal. I didn't teach it. Honestly, I didn't teach it to them yet, but they started developing to the second level, and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little gallop to it. I wanted kind of, slow walk, choppy step to it, but up walk second level.
Yeah.
But I mean, they started like galloping, and they started working out for me. I've talked to a lot of guys that actually do that. They teach them to gallop in the second level. So. Oh yeah, here's a little dart, like just a dart adjustment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're just running power left, just doing tackle. Just an adjustment that we made, but like this is what I'm trying to say is like you don't know. There's a lot of like just you don't know this like you're gonna block, but you're gonna be just filling a hole and inside out right there. Like just go make a hole inside out full speed. And I don't know what happens in the backfield right here, but he had a chance if he keeps the place out. If we don't get just because we're just inside out, we're not like looking and seeing if we're gonna get the letter line. It's just so let's.
Coach, what would make you guys go to that dart adjustment?
Well, if we get it depends on the tackle. I tell them to do it. They can get the adjustment out there, but if we're getting heavy slant and the guy can't cut them off, then we're going to end up guard's going to be out on it. Because that's what they're going to try to do is stop power. Now we have other adjustments too, like outside toes are great play. Sweeps a great play. We're getting 4-eye slant inside. But if they catch us in a bad time, we'll just make a dart adjustment and the tackle will call it and the guard will be out. We'll just switch the guard tackle and the center back. Like right here, you shouldn't have really called it because we're good. Like we're back and then, he's gonna be slam hands cutting that guy off and we should be fine. But sometimes I think he just wanted to pull. So he shouldn't have done it to answer your question right here. And then we should have been getting off the backside backer. I think he actually ends up throwing the down pass out there, so that's why he doesn't hand the football. But our double team isn't great right here. Like our left tackle isn't getting his head across. Again, he's not really stepping. He's not really stepping good when it's right, left. To answer your question, is depending on if we're getting guys that we can't cut off, then we'll just make an adjustment. This is really good. This is really good by him on the right. His hands are too wide again, but it's hard sometimes when you're 6'5", 310 to get super tight hands. Anyway, just square and speed, and it's a shuffle. It's a skip shuffle, like skip. You see the skip and then shuffle and go. But like when I played, like some level line coaches, they taught a true skip pull, which is good. But sometimes these guys, when you skip pull, they get way back here. I like the skip shuffle because it keeps them tied into the line, and we can get into there faster, right? Because we're going to hit the play faster. So the only time we'll still skip shuffle on like sweep, but they just know it's going to be a longer way to go.
Yeah,
just the same pull. All right, let's do double team. How much time we got? We got a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Let's do double teams. I mean, I'm not. There's no rocket science. We do double teams. We just line up and do double teams. The tight ends, and we just line up and do double teams. But again, like we talked about earlier, I like to be the backer because I like to get in terrible situations. Like I like to be the backer, and like I'm gonna walk down late and run through, and you got to see that at center, right? And 50-50, if they do, to be honest with you, they probably don't. So I'm gonna walk down. Walk down and shoot the gap, and he's going to be so locked into the double team drill, he's going to forget that, like, oh, I got to actually, that's my dude in the backside A gap. Like, I got to get off the double team, and the right guard becomes solo. So, I like to, like, hey, I tell these guys, and the scout team guys aren't great at it because I like to have coaches get out here and do it, but just give them terrible, terrible looks. Just give them the worst looks possible because anybody. And I'm not going to limit anybody. If you line up in an over and under front, like we could double team and 3 technique, we should be able to. But we start giving us a head up nose and walking these guys down, these guys up front, stemming, right? Like we're going to line up in the under. And then at the last second, we're going to jump to a odd front. Can we think fast? That's what we're doing right here. Can we think run fast and abandon double team and play football?
And that's the thing, Coach. Double teams sound fun until you realize you have an offensive lineman who can't handle it mentally, can't get his eyes to linebacker. We used to really focus heavy, hands on the down lineman, eyes on the linebacker, and you gotta coach it up. Just like you said, you got to give them those situations, coach it up, and make sure they've seen it.
Absolutely. This is where we got the tight end. So we're talking about budgeting. Double teams. We want the tight ends over there with us because that's who we were last year. Is it going to be who we are this year? I don't know. I mean, it should be, but we might have 3 or 4 skilled dudes that can go. So anyway, I try to teach the gallop at guard. I don't teach the gallop at tackle. I just don't. I don't know, but I like the gallop at guard and center, power and counter. And really our duo double teams are the same. Like we just do it the same way. So it's just power forward. But I don't teach the gallop. Like if we had a 3 technique, I wouldn't teach the tackle the gallop. I would just teach them kind of like duo, just kind of get behind him and overtake it. But I do like to teach the gallop at guard. He's not really great right here. His first step isn't really getting any ground. I found this on the gallop. I don't know how you feel about it, but like whenever you tell them the 3rd step, sometimes they start counting steps like a receiver. When you tell them, hey, you got 8 steps on this route, and they're slow because they're counting the steps. So, and you would think like 3 steps isn't that big a deal, but sometimes I'll find that like the 1st step isn't very good because they're so worried about the 3rd step. So, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that with the gallop.
I found that counting to 3 was too much for a lineman, so it has to be like 1-2 bump. You got to change it up. If you go 3, that's too much. So you got to come up with a different word or something. Like 1-2 bump, I think is what we used. But like 3 is too much.
I agree, man. It's like, okay, let's go 1-2. Touch. But yeah, I mean, it's not brain melting stuff. What we do for double teams, we just do pods. Like not pods, but we do like one side up, one side, down. Again, the key to me is giving them just crazy looks from linebacker level, 2nd level, so they can it makes them use their eyes. So you're multi-layering the drill to where they're working the 1st level with their steps, they're getting the right place with their hands, they're getting the steps on the ground, but then they're getting their eyes on the 2nd level. And we're not just focusing on just the double team because that's how you get beat. Because sometimes, when we focus so much on the double team, when we overemphasize it, then that is tackling practice for the inside backer, and that's not what we want. So the whole key is displacing the 1st level player, taking them to the 2nd level, or just, and you might even be soloing up on them by yourself anyway. Like I can't say how many times this dude slants away, step to him, and then we're still stepping to him even though he's slanting away. Then he slants away. He's not your receiver, dude. He tries to make 2nd level. That's exactly what you want, man. Like he slanted away. This is exactly what you want. Go. That's what we do. So anyway, that's kind of what we work on here. Some clips. Yeah, so we're just running duo right here. This is just a basic 4-man frame with 3 technique and 2 eye. But what I do like is the eyes, like all of their eyes. Like that's what I'm coaching. That's what we're looking like. We're looking at eyes. We're feeling pressure. We're understanding who's got who. Like the center's got his eyes on 19. That's exactly what we're trying to emphasize in the drills.
All right, so Matt, the episode got cut off a little bit last night. We tried to get Coach back, couldn't get him tonight, but we definitely wanted to wrap up this episode and talk a little bit about it to close it out. Maybe we can get Coach to come back on some other time, maybe talk about a different topic. But Matt, looking back on the episode, what did you appreciate about the episode as Coach went through kind of his progression, his teaching from drill to game tape there?
Yeah, so any offensive line, high school offensive line coach knows that those solo blocks are the toughest by far. To get those one-on-one situations and have your kids win those situations. So, I see where putting the focus there on the one-on-one blocks and making sure that they can master those is most important to coach there. But you could tell with the boards, he was with the boards on the board drill. He was starting with the footwork. Footwork was the foundation for what he did. That gives you that repeatable movement through contact where you can actually contact the pad. One piece of advice I have for coaches, you saw how some of the pads were going way up high in their hands. I used to tell them to hold it like a guitar, one arm over, one arm under, pull it to your chest, and then that gives some force to it, some feedback to the person blocking. But teaching those first few steps and stance, posture, and creating that rhythm. He even talked about some of the other blocks, having the perfect foot rhythm for the blocks. But those steps and making sure you can get the pad level low and you can teach those first steps the way you want them, to me is so important. So important. I used to do these drills where my lineman would take a step and freeze. I'd want to see them frozen with good pad level, good posture, with the correct stance. And we called them bird dogs. And we used to do one step and freeze just like a bird dog. That was it. And, that was how I was able to look through every single O lineman. Okay, hips are too high. You're up over your toes. You see them freeze and see how comfortable they are in that stance, and in that position. But he did a lot there with driving and coming off the ball and on the boards. And the big thing is not just doing it out of one style block. He showed it out of the down block. He showed how he did the pull drills with it. So his kids are comfortable with there on the boards. Have that thing that your players can be really comfortable with, that they know how to use. I use boards. I use pan sleds. Those are my go-tos.
Yeah, you love that pan sled. But
love it.
I thought that, the big piece that I enjoyed that I did a lot with my guys, and, completely different side of the ball, but I used to always talk about we need to do drills where we put our guys at a disadvantage, because too many times I think in football, we do the drill and it's almost like the perfect scenario. And it's like, that's great, but how many times on Friday night does the perfect scenario of anything happen? It's almost never, right? And so when you put your guys at a disadvantage and you teach them to do that over and over and over, I feel like you put them in a position to overcome those disadvantages on Friday night when it's not perfect. When whatever the D lineman slants and you catch them weird or however you want to say, I don't know all that O-line stuff with you guys, but for me, it would always be, the linebacker, we're expecting this block and we get that, or, we get some different stimulus than what we're used to. Can we adapt and overcome? And if we spend a lot of time in practice adapting and overcoming, it's second nature to the player. If we've shown them the perfect picture every time, it's not, right? They're like, oh, this is not what it looked like on Wednesday. And so I was always a big fan of that. I hated trying to do like the perfect scout team. I hated it when I was a player too. And, I remember being an offensive and defensive coach back. That's not how they're going to run it. Well, they may run it like that.
Never know.
And so when I'm a defensive scout coach and I hear another coach back, well, that's not how they're going to run it. I'm like, you don't know. I'm like, they could do that. We have no idea. That could be their adjustment for this week. I have no idea. So I was a big fan of coach putting them at a disadvantage and doing that. And I think the second note I want to bring up is the fact that you referenced bird dog, and nothing says that you're from Chiliota more than using the term bird dog and just expecting everyone on earth to understand that. And I do, but I'm just saying there's probably some people like, bird dog, what is he talking about?
Bird hunting, and that that pointer, that dog, he'll point out where the birds are, man. That's what it is. He freezes. But you're absolutely right, Coach. You adding in that element of your players are at a disadvantage for offensive line, specifically balance recovery. Yeah. I think is be a good way to say body control. That they can go in from an awkward position, like he was talking about, and get themselves into a good position of power. You can't just, it's like other positions where you just get in the right spot. You still got to be able to deliver power and drive the feet, even when you're out of spot.
It's a lot like, again, I go back to, I play DB. You can get in the right position and slap a ball away pretty easily, right? If you just kind of get in the hip pocket and you slap the ball away. But in tackling, probably much like being an lineman, if you don't get the footwork right and you don't get, near foot, near hip and tackling, it doesn't matter if I throw my body at a dude, he's going to run right through me, especially as a corner, right? So, it's talking about regaining that leverage and then going back to almost that body movement that you guys train, right? That I don't even know what the word is for it, but it's when you just do it over and over and your body feels it, it's that
that repetition,
Yeah. And so, when tackling, it was always near foot, near hip. And it's like, can we get near foot, near hip? Can we get back to that? And we know if I can get a foot underneath the guy, I'm probably going to make the tackle. If I'm extended, it's probably going to be on someone's highlight tape, right? That's kind of how it went. And I feel like it's the same for blocking. If you get back to the position that you need to naturally, then it's going to be a good block. If not, it's the D lineman or linebacker's probably going to beat you, in my opinion.
One more thing I want to point out that what Coach did that he took us right through drill clips to the game cut-ups, and connected those things. And it is so important. I know it's, coaches do it when they're talking in times like this. The players need to see that. They need to see, here's you in practice, here's you in the game. Look at the connection here. And then how can we get better there? Because he even said it a couple times about the players not really knowing how they look like. Okay, now I can see myself. Now I know I look like an idiot, or I look pretty good, or I know what I'm doing here, but making those connections from what you're doing in the daily drills to the actual game, I think is very important for the players, and that reinforces what you're doing as a coach, and it gains a better understanding for the players.
Yeah, I'm with you. And as a coach, we used to do this, but I would talk with all the defensive coaches every year, and we had an exercise we always did going into spring. Maybe it was fall. I forget when it was. And every coach would go through every one of their individual drills in front of the staff. And I said it like, it was almost like in a very professional way, we put you on trial. Is that a game movement? You had to defend your drills to the other coaches. And we did this in a really positive, manner, but it always went back to, are we doing things that aren't contributing to game movements? Are we doing things just to do them? Or do they have intention and purpose to them in individual drill? Because look, nowadays we want to cut practice down to an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes or whatever it is. There's no 3-hour practices anymore, at least where I was at. And so now it's like, look, everything has to be purposeful and strategic. You can't just sit out there for, if you only get 5 periods of Indy or less, some days we got 3 periods of Indy, you better get in those game movements and get those things done. If we're, we played 2 read and palms and we actually were a shuffle team, we don't need to be sitting back there doing 100 backpedal drills. We barely backpedal, coach. So what's the point of doing it? Let's work shuffle drills. Let's work some man technique press stuff because we did that. And then let's get out of Indy and let's get to whatever next drill we're doing. So I'm a big fan of that. I think you got to be purposeful in individual drill. And I think it's got to be game movements.
Yeah, absolutely. Isolate the footwork, move to controlled contact, and then move to group, team, etc. There's a progression to it.
Love it. All right, Matt. Well, for me and Coach, who we lost tonight, we appreciate you guys listening to this episode of the Board Drill Podcast, and we will see you next week on another episode of the Board Drill Podcast.